Are you ready for some good news? The gospel, that is, good news of what God's done for us in Jesus Christ, the gospel has the very power of God in it to dismantle strongholds, spiritual strongholds, what one writer has called a house of thoughts, to tear down a strategic stronghold behind which the enemy of your soul, the powers of darkness, and your own sinful thoughts hide. The gospel has power to tear that down so that no longer is there an advantage in the spiritual battle against you. And maybe it's similar to the one you have, but I'm just giving you an example. This stronghold of mine began with this statement, I am flawed. And guess what? That's true. There's nothing inaccurate about that. We were born in sin. All of us have fallen short of the glory of God. But it was the next step, and this is where it all started in mine, is I thought, because I am flawed, I am less loved. And that's where it all started for me. Again, nobody said that to me. Nobody came and said, Alan, because you have flaws, you're not loved as much and you're not as acceptable. But I, duped by the deceptions of hell, by my own inward sin nature, by unhealed places in me that had been wounded by, I probably imagine, rejections that I had experienced through a breakup of a family or others in my life, whatever happened, working in that place of that woundedness, I began to believe this lie. The thing for me, and this is what I learned about shame and where we teach so much about this, is that it's like an invisible carrot that is dangled in front of you, love and acceptance, and you try harder and you run harder after it, but it's like the carrot keeps getting moved. Like those greyhound dogs at the dog race running after that phony mechanical rabbit. It's always just out of their grip. And I remember always having that feeling like, how could I ever know that I've been enough? It's what's so diabolical about this particular stronghold of shame. Over and over in the gospel is the same thing that we learn from John chapter 3. That God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. Yes, you're flawed, but God loved us in all of our sin. Paul put it elsewhere this way, Christ died for the ungodly while they're still in their sins. And you know what happens? If you come down here, like I come behind here and just push out the wall right down here at the wrong place at the beginning, right at the beginning, you push it out, and what happens? I love doing that. It all falls down. The wall cannot stand contrary to the truth when the truth of the gospel is on display. So what it means, beloved, is that instead of the enemy having a strong fortress to hide behind, when you tear it down by the power of the gospel's truth, you are given a new stronghold by which you come and run into the righteousness of Jesus Christ. This is the weapon of our warfare. It's not the flesh. It's the power of the good news of what God's done in Jesus Christ. And that's the gospel.